Hello everyone, I'm Crash, this is RTA Motorsports, and today we're going to dive into Automobilista.
Welcome to RTA Motorsports.
So thanks for stopping by. Again, I'm Crash and we're going to jump into Automobilista. You can see my face on the TV behind me there. The reason why we're going to jump into Automobilista is because, well, besides the fact that it's in beta and it's still a new title, they have done something with Automobilista that kind of sets it apart from many of the other common sim racing titles out there. And I'm really stressing sim racing and not just, you know, PC or gaming at all. This is definitely a sim title and a fun one at that. Now, what they have done is they added super trucks, and that's what we're going to jump into today. Now, the super trucks are very different than any other vehicle I've driven in sim racing. I mean, maybe close to, you know, Dirt 3, you know, how they had the truck racing and that, but I wouldn't really call that title a true sim, nothing like Dirt Rally. But the super truck division, what it does is they race on road courses in trucks that really feel like they should be at home on dirt. They handle horribly. There's a bunch of jumps on each of the tracks. There's a lot of bumping and hitting, and it's just really a challenge, and it's really just a ride. Every time you get on the gas or you get on the brakes, the suspension completely loads up and you're staring at the pavement, or if you're jumping on the throttle, you're staring at the sky. It's completely fun, completely different than anything else I have driven. So that's what we're going to dive into today. We're going to look at a few other aspects of Automobilista, and so hope you have fun. Hello everyone and welcome from inside the rig. So we're in Automobilista, and Automobilista, you can see here, they are created by Reza Studios. And Reza Studios, you would know them if you have played Game Stock Car Extreme. So Game Stock Car Extreme was kind of like the predecessor to this one, and this here is basically taking that same Game Stock Car formula and elaborating on it, kind of working on a lot of the kinks, as well as, you know, polishing up a lot of the loose ends, a lot of the graphics and whatnot. This main menu to me kind of seems a little dated. When I first loaded it up, it just seemed a little odd to navigate. I mean, after you kind of play it for a little bit, you kind of realize, you know, you click on what type of race or what type of vehicle you want to race with. You know, you got the Formula Classics, the Formula V12s, the Camaro. Today we're going to be doing the super truck, so we select the super truck, and you probably can't see down here because my dash is in the way, unfortunately, but once you click super truck, you go down to single race. On the bottom you have single race, you have test day, time trial, championship, and multiplayer. We're just going to go to single race, and then from within here is where you choose what vehicle, what livery you want to do. With the super trucks, they're all the same, you just have different liveries, and they have, you know, basically general names, like you have Cooper 8, and that's, you know, I guess Cooper's vehicle with the number 8 on it. We're gonna do, is it crude? No, not crude. There's one here, yep, there you go, Gooseman 66. He's got skulls and camouflage all over his truck. It's pretty cool looking. And then over here you choose your track you want to race, and there's quite a few different tracks. You know, you have Spielberg Super Truck Circuit, Cordoba Super Truck, and everything just basically says Super Truck, so that way you could get you know, an idea of what type of track you're about to race at. Now, all of these tracks here, they're all road tracks. And then from here, you can select what type of opponents you want, your AI strength. We're going to leave that at 100%. AI drivers, we're going to put that all the way up to 20. AI aggression, medium. And then the rules, we're going to leave full, track usage, medium. Basically how you want the starting track to seem. Tire wear, we're going to leave that normal. Fuel usage, normal. So we're going to do the practice and the warm-up, and hopefully that will give us our let's see, it should give us our qualifying sessions 1. Race time, and you can either do this by time or by laps. I'm going to do laps because we're going to just try to make this a nice, quick, and short race. We're only going to do that as 3 laps. Mechanical failures, we're going to leave that as normal. Time scale, use percentage, and type of start. I'm going to do this, being that we're doing the Cascavel Super Truck circuit, we're going to do use track default. So whatever they normally do at that track for this type of race is what we're actually going to do. So you can see that I have my track IR going with this, and it works great. It works really good. We also have Dash Meter Pro on the tablets here. On this one here, we have our speed in miles per hour, RPMs, also the gear shift indicator, my position, and the time, and the LED shift light indicator on the bottom there. On my other tablet here, which unfortunately I didn't really charge, so it very well may die in the middle of the race, which is okay. You know, this is not going to be a longer race. But over here I have my if you can see it, I don't think you can. Over here on the bottom left is my tire temperatures and wear, and the neat thing is it actually shows you the wear pattern on the tire itself. I have my brake temperatures, my delta, my current lap time, my best lap time, fuel, of course. Right now it just popped up saying we have 11.1. I'm guessing that's gallons of fuel. Lap time, I mean the current lap that we're at, my oil temperature, and my water temperature in degrees Celsius is set to normal gauges instead of just a readout. Now, the interesting thing of Automobilista is sometimes when you load it up, all the settings are gone. So definitely go to your controller settings, and when you set up your controller and you set up your button box and whatever you want to do, save it as a preset, because that has saved my butt more times now, and because there's so many things to map if you want to, that it could get quite annoying. So yeah, save everything, and I'm just gonna hit save again anyway, because there were some things that I have changed. So TX crash, that's kind of what I like to call it. We're going to be using 900 degrees of rotation and force feedback strength. We're going to leave that at, let's leave that at 83. See, things, even though I didn't put it at that when I saved it last time, I'm not exactly sure why it changed again. But there are also some really cool things with this here too. So you could do auto ignition off, meaning that you have to, you know, do your ignition and starter yourself, which is pretty cool, and I really do appreciate that. We're going to, of course, use hardcore AI strength. We're just going to leave that down at 100%. Usually I go flying right off the track anyway, so I'm not predicting that we're going to be doing too well. So we're going to adjust this because, of course, everything completely changed on me. Let's see, mirrors on, vertical field of view, we'll leave that to, I think the last time I used it, it was down in the 20s, or right at 30. Steering wheel, we're going to leave that off. We're going to change that to miles per hour because we're here in the States. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. That should look a little bit more normal. There we go. All right. So you can see I can move my head, I can look up, look at my mirror a little bit. It's just peeking in there a little bit. We can kind of raise this up, kind of help me out with that. But you have your full gauge cluster on here. You have your map over here. Now when you set up the title in the beginning and you go to launch it, it's going to say to play, or it's going to say launch configurator. Now when you launch configurator, you're going to see something in there to the effect of basically using separate screens, and when I think it's use separate displays, and when you click use separate displays, that's how you can enable it to basically run on 3 separate screens instead of try to render the display on one screen, and then you kind of get the stretch displays on the side. I'm going to kind of bring in the field of view in a little bit more. I got also my simvibe going. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear that through this at all. See, it looks like we are free to go. So with these trucks here, it's a ride. I mean, just the nose diving up in the air, hitting the brakes, seeing the nose dive down, and just feeling like you have no grip whatsoever, but tons of horsepower. It's pretty addicting. I mean, the title itself doesn't look particularly great, I would say. Right now I'm running 113 frames per second. This is an AMD R9 290X Tri-X 8GB graphics card from Sapphire, and the CPU is a AMD 8350 overclocked to 4.3 gigahertz. So nothing crazy, but yet we have 20 cars on the track going, and my frames per second is staying at over 100. When we grid, it generally will dive down a little bit below that. Pretty much stay in second gear for most of these races. Slid that one there, and you know, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy because, you know, it doesn't, like I was trying to say, it doesn't look particularly amazing. It looks like an older title. Some of the textures I like on some of the Cup cars and, you know, the Camaros and whatnot, you know, the rears of the vehicle or the fronts of the vehicle when you're passing or anything like that. The textures on the vehicles themselves I like. It's the menu system and everything else, and it just kind of looks a little old. And I have it, my AA filter basically maxed out at 16, and all the graphics turned all the way up, and it still just kind of looks jaggedy and a little bit older as far as the title goes. You see the cars go off in the distance, and they kind of look a little blocky. So yeah, that being said, the physics of this title are amazing. I mean, I purchased the beta, so I jumped in on the beta, and again, this title is still a beta, so there is still room for improvement. But I have not stopped thinking about this title. I mean, I've been, I would say, tuning into this title more than any of the other titles lately, because it's just so different. I mean, it kind of, in some aspects, with super trucks, reminds me of Dirt Rally. Well, we're going off the track. Because it is almost like a vehicle you would expect to be in the dirt, but the AI is pretty damn awesome considering it's AI. They don't just mow you down, and the vehicle itself, not only is it tough because, you know, you don't want to, I'm not one that likes or really enjoys driving vehicles that just are hard to drive, like classic vehicles that are seemingly almost impossible to drive. You know, that's fun sometimes, but not all the time. But there's just some level of satisfaction with nailing a turn right in this truck. It almost feels like, and I am not doing it right now. We're gonna just go past that jump there. Whoa, almost got landed on there. You just feel like you're racing around in monster trucks. I mean, and what could be better than that? Give him a little up tap, let him know we're there. But there's a lot of things physics-wise that go into the actual driving experience. There's dynamic tracks. So you have the marbling off the tires, you have flat spotting, you can pick up dirt and road debris, and that will affect how your vehicle is handling. Whoa! So he's starting to lose it. He saved it. He saved it, but he moved to the side to let me by, which is pretty impressive for AI. Then I get mowed down. After I compliment you, you mowed me down. Alright, so. And it didn't take long to get used to those jumps there, as far as what you have to do. But I do find we're not going to be able to hit that jump. I do find with these trucks, though, that you really have to nail your downshifts, especially when you're braking. You're going to have to rev match, or else you can lock up the rear tires and then around you go. It's really challenging managing your mid-corner traction and control with these trucks. A lot of people have managed to control the drifting with this truck really well. I'm not one of them, but you know, using the e-brake or handbrake to just give yourself that little, like I just did, when you start understeering like crazy, just give yourself that little kick of the rear end to try to get around the turn is very useful. But yep, you're coming up to a jump, nail it, and then brake and gas, and hold the gas, because that will actually pitch the truck back in the air. The torque of the tires and will actually throw the nose up of the truck. But you want to hit that brake. This turn is just getting me every time. I keep forgetting how tight it is and how much I need to slow down. But what you want to do is when you first hit that jump, you want to just stab at the brake, so that way you throw the nose of the truck down for that brief moment as you're entering into the jump. You'll load the front suspension. When you hit the jump, the nose comes up, and then you hold that throttle down, and it'll continue holding that nose up in the air until you land. Whereas if you just stab at the throttle, hold it down, slam into the jump, the suspension's not loaded, so you're throwing the nose up in the air, and then when the rear hits, now you're going to be in a nosedive. I'll show you what that looks like, because we're only in a practice session right now. There you go, there's that nosedive. And a lot of times you could save it. I mean, it's not particularly horrible, but sometimes if you have a lot of speed coming into it, you really can't. Brake and gas and hold it. I don't know what was worse. You can see the damage meter here. I got some damage on the left side. But this is definitely a really fun and addicting title. I mean, I can't believe, you know, all the vehicles are really hard to drive, but they feel appropriate. It's not like can you make it around with this vehicle around the track, you know, and it's just a really old and crazy vehicle with tires that are made of really terrible rubber, and that's the joy of it, is like, you know, getting a car around the track that is just horrible to get around the track. These feel hard, but very appropriately hard, and I don't know, it's just so addicting, and the physics is addicting, and the fact that my card is running it at 119 frames per second with 20 other cars on the track right now is addicting. See, look at that nosedive. You can roll these vehicles over as well. Like for instance, if you stay up at the throttle too soon, stay up at the brake too soon, and then you know, slam into the jump and you land butt end first. Kind of like that. See, there you go. You could roll it. So you really have to practice and kind of get it right. The entry into these jumps as I slide down. It's going to auto-correct itself, although we're going to have some damage. So let's go to the pits. We're going to start the qualifying. So, you know, again, we're back to the very archaic sort of basic old menu. Your setups would be up here. You could manage all your setups. We're just using a stock setup. In here you could also handle how much starting fuel you have, and we got 42 liters, which is 29 laps worth. Kind of gives you a little bit of an estimation. Then you have your gear, where you could change all your gears here, and the weight of the vehicle as far as the distribution of weight. But you know, we're just going stock, and in here, that little gear up there in the top right, hopefully you could see that. You could actually adjust all of your normal options audio. One thing I want to touch on here as far as the audio goes is right now I have 7.1 audio on my sound card, and I have all the correct speakers attached. It's kind of a DIY setup, but anyway, it only plays in stereo. So only my stereo speakers are going. All the other speakers are not outputting sound at all. Kind of something I think they should update. But let's go to next session. So what you do is you click right down here, next session, and that's going to bring us from practice 1 over, and you could set how many different types of practice sessions you want. So now we're going to be in qualifying. There's only going to be one qualifying session. I believe we get 10 laps. So I did set this to be auto ignition off, but you can see there's a truck right there. Hopefully you can. Right there to the left. You got these here, which would normally be on your racing seat, kind of going around my head. But we're gonna start this up the way I want to. So ignition and starter, and that's awesome. Let me check in the options. We're gonna hold escape and see. Oh, auto ignition is on. Why didn't that save? Very interesting. Anyway, and the thing about it too is when you do this, let's go back into the vehicle. When you set auto ignition to be off, what happens is you could stall your vehicle coming out of the pits. More so, I noticed that with the Camaro and a few of the other like stock cars. That it was pretty easy to stall coming. You gotta basically give them a lot of gas and you know, kind of rev them up to kind of get them moving. Also, another thing that I noticed too is vehicle status is unavailable. You'll notice that all my Dash Meter Pro stuff basically turns off once the ignition is off. And when I turn the ignition on, this menu changes here. Kind of see everything come up here, and it'll show me as far as, you know, oil temperatures and water temperatures and how much fuel I have while the vehicle is not running, but only the ignition is turned on. So that way you kind of know that the ignition is on. So let's start that up. On here you could also see, you know, your gear shift indicator, how much fuel you have, your engine status. I normally have all this turned off, but I felt, you know, in this setting it would be appropriate to leave it on. And what I'm racing with here is my Thrustmaster TX base with my Thrustmaster 599 XX EVO wheel, Thrustmaster T500 pedals. I think we might have been speeding a little bit coming out of there. And my T500 pedals, I have a video on my channel. I have a little custom brake mod to kind of give it a hydraulic feel. Give it a little bit of resistance. Again, we have simvibe going with a Butt Kicker Gamer 2. This is the Placey Challenge chassis that we're dealing with, a real budget beginner chassis. I did a review of that as well on my channel if you want to check that out. We have the Thrustmaster TH8A shifter. Be interesting to see where we qualify. I'm sure it's going to be towards the back of the pack. As long as we keep up with them, that's all that counts. Third gear, you hit about 120 miles per hour. These trucks have so much power, it's crazy. Guys started losing it there. Oh, they're bumping into each other. Ah, no! That was my fault. I am still sliding. That is... Alright, so let's see if we have any damage. Let's come out. We'll start back from the pits. So that way we're not qualifying with damage. Now it did take a lap from my allotted 10, if you didn't notice that. So now we have, it's saying that we're on the third lap. We were starting our second lap, we went back to the pits, now it says third lap. So it does kind of penalize you a little bit. So Dash Meter Pro, if you're wanting Dash Meter Pro to work with this title, just as a side note, you're going to want to download the R Factor 1 and 2 version of Dash Meter Pro. That's all one version. And you basically follow the instructions like as if you were doing it for R Factor 1. So you put it in the plugins file. You never actually have to open up the server on the PC side. When you launch the game, it launches it automatically, which is super sweet. This is the only title with Dash Meter Pro that I know of, besides maybe the R Factors, that you have to, that you don't have to load up the server, where it just does it for you when you load up the game. All right, let's see, we're at 120. At least that's what it showed on my Dash Meter Pro. Really want to make sure you hit those jumps nice and square. That's in kilometers per hour. Definitely nail that heel toe downshifts. You want to rev match. Hold that. You gotta really watch your throttle application mid-corner as well. Gets a little bit swirly if you start going a little too stabby at the throttle. Really test your ability to kind of just be patient with throttle application on corner exit and mid corner. So far looks like we're in 18th. Just kind of taking it easy, trying to put some clean laps down. Wow, we actually are now at position 1. Apparently that was a good lap time. Now again, we have the AI strength at 100%, aggression medium. You can feel when you hit those marbles there, those marbles right on the outside there, left over for some tires, and you can feel it in the steering wheel, just kind of rumbling the steering wheel a little bit on you. Truck is right now. Very easy to drift this truck. One thing you're going to want to remember though, the fastest way around the track is a good racing line. So you're not going to want to drift this around the track completely, besides the fact of you'd just be destroying your tires prematurely, and you're not really going to be able to do that for too long that effectively. It looks like we're still holding our position of first place. Kind of went at that turn a little hotter. The RPM start going up there. If you're just kind of cruising around a turn, you got to be careful. Maybe consider shifting early, because you could, with the torque of this thing, it seems to have a lot more torque. Higher up the RPM range, it just starts kicking out the rear. There we go. I think this guy lost it in front of me. Oh, almost. See if we can get around the inside. Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty cool in this title. It's so addicting. It's like, I never thought I would choose physics over graphics. I've always been a graphics junkie. You know, it's got to look good, as well as play good, but I've been more so on the visual amazement of a lot of titles. I like things to really look and sound great. Now the sounds are okay. I would say the in-car sounds are definitely a lot more impressive than the replay sounds. The replay sounds sound almost canned in a way, except for like the Formula 12. The V12 is pretty crazy to listen to, but definitely not in the top bracket of sounds. Not a competitor with Race Room or, you know, the iRacing. Good, but not great. But the in-car sounds are noticeably better, which to me is the most important, than the replays. The replays always sound a little canned and a little on the automated side. So we're gonna kind of we're gonna call this as our last lap for qualifying. It doesn't seem to be that the AI is going to really pressure me too much. We're still kind of gridding number one. So really what we're gonna do here is just let's just pull off on the grass, and let's hope that the AI all of a sudden doesn't pull out an amazing driver and destroy it. So from here, we're going to go to next session. So we're going to, let's see, warm up. Let's see. We don't need a warm up. And let's see where it puts us for the race. It looks like it's sticking us at 11. I don't know what happened. Maybe because I didn't finish the qualifying of 10 laps. That's the only thing I could think of, but you know what? That's okay. It'll be more of a challenge. Whoa! Alright, so rolling start. And that's the thing, if you're doing rolling start, it just kind of jumps you right in. You have to be ready. Make sure you have it in the right gear, or else you're going to go and start spinning out. It's almost like it catches you off guard. It doesn't really give you that much video time to let you know what's about to happen beforehand. It just kind of throws you right in. Alright, so where are we at now? Looks like we're in 10th place now. Oh, someone lost it up there. Oh, it came right across the track. Alright, we're in 6th place. This is only going to be a 3-lap race. We're going to try to take the inside here. Dangerous grounds, dangerous grounds. We're going to floor it. Oh, I was worried we were going to land on somebody. All I saw was blue sky. Blue sky. Alright, so we're 5th place now. Ah, yeah. Kind of bumped him. Gives you a pretty good amount of anxiety when they start spinning over the jumps and you hit the jump and you realize you can't see them. You just gotta hope you don't land on them. Oh, we're getting some good speed through here, but guy is right on my tail. You can see him up there in my mirror. Throw that nose up, you can feel the curbing real well through the steering wheel. Everything of the track translates real well through the steering wheel. Oh yeah, now we're pulling away from them. Fastest lap so far is me. What, at 123.431? So far we're hitting looks like 86 frames per second. Woo! Come on, hold it, hold it. We're on lap 3 of 3 right now. Let's see if we can do this. That was horrible. That was horrible. I could see him back there going over that jump now. Whoa! Lifted up that inside wheel. There we go. All right. So we nailed first place. That's awesome. So that's Automobilista's super truck. There's really nothing quite like it. It's really addicting, and it's a true testament to show that if you have good physics, you have great gameplay. I myself, I've always been a graphics junkie, and even though the graphics of this title they're decent, they're good, but they're not great, I can't stop thinking about racing the super trucks. So definitely, I urge you, if you're even in the slightest bit thinking about getting into sim racing, or if you are into sim racing right now and you just focus on one title, give this a shot while it's a beta, because it's really a lot of fun. Also, further, definitely post a like and subscribe to the channel for other future videos, and post down in the comments. I'm kind of curious to see what some people's rigs are, what you're thinking of getting, what you're moving into. There's a few rigs myself that I'm thinking of upgrading to. We're going to be moving into a bigger space here soon, and there's some other rigs that I'm looking to try and test out. I want to see what you all are using, if any at all, or what you're interested in seeing. So, as usual, I'm Crash. See you all out on the track, and have a great day.